Lonesome Days, Savage Nights by TKO Studios. This came out in 2020, and it is by Salvatore Simeon, Steve Niles, and Szymon Kudrowski. And this is a beautifully illustrated werewolf series. Let's go over the brief premise real quick. Stu Manning always wanted to be a cop, but a terrible incident on his first beat has left him dishonored, dismayed, and barely clinging to sanity. Years later, Stu prowls the streets again, not as a cop, but as a scruffy private detective with one hell of a trick up his sleeve and a monster under his skin. But when the city he always wanted to protect claims the one person who helped him survive it this far, Stu is prepared to unleash the beast he's kept inside and embark on his own road to revenge. And he gets the feeling that 2 graves will not be nearly enough. Supernatural hard-boiled crime thriller for the 21st century. The best way I can describe it, funny enough, is Max Payne with werewolves. So we have our main character, Stu, who starts off as a cop. He's a beat cop. And on his first day, he hears some kind of noise coming from an alleyway. And he arrives only to get attacked by a werewolf. And he gets slashed across his chest and stuff. And later on, he tells people, like, I was attacked by some kind of beast, and everyone makes fun of him. Like the cops mock him, the news say that he made up some kind of boogeyman to cover up his cowardice, and he gets let go because he's giving the police a bad name. And so he decides to kind of become a private detective, and we see him, and he's just, taking pictures of people cheating on their loved ones and stuff like that. And he uses his werewolf powers to be able to help him. So, for example, he's able to get a high vantage point because he can use his werewolf powers to scale tall buildings and stuff like that. But yeah, he has a woman that he loves, a woman that he wants to marry, and she actually stays by his side through all this. So she doesn't believe that he's a coward. She believes the story that he tells, that something attacked him. She doesn't know what though. And we even have a moment, a flashback, where he's freaking out. He can feel the werewolf coming in just under his skin, and he actually transforms. And rather than freaking out, his lover basically tells him, calm down. It's me, Audrey. You know me, you love me. And he's able to fight the monster. And she decides, I love you, and I'm gonna stay by you, and I'm gonna help you through this. He wants to push her away because he doesn't want her to get hurt, but she's like, no, I'll help you get through this, and we'll get through this together. Until one day, he is actually showing up to her work. She works as a waitress, and he's showing up with a engagement ring that he plans to propose to her. And as he spots her coming out of her work, a car shows up, a bunch of mafiosos come out, and they just start shooting everybody. And she sees a child about to get shot, so she covers the child, and she ends up taking the bullets, and she dies. So now Stu is left all alone, and he doesn't know what to do with his life. In fact, there's one point where he actually puts a gun in his mouth. He's about to blow his brains out. And then we get a scene that's basically straight out of An American Werewolf in London, where his wife, covered in bullet holes and blood, shows up and basically tells him, he shouldn't commit suicide, that there's something he needs to do. And that's when she basically tells him, put the gun down. The city needs you to do something for me. I need you to do something for me. I need you to find my killer, and I need you to get rid of him. So, yeah, I thought this was kind of an interesting twist, because usually, loved ones are I need you to move on and stuff like that. But she's like, no, I need you to find the person who murdered me, and I need you to to kill him. I need you to take him out. So Stu eventually gets into contact with his old partner, or at least an old buddy who works at the police station that he used to work at. And he's trying to solve this case. Basically, the Mafia is dealing out drugs, and he needs all the help he can get. Like no one wants to help him out because it's too dangerous. The mafia has some of the higher ups in their back pocket, so he wants to turn to Stu for help, and Stu eventually agrees, mostly because of his dead wife. His dead wife basically convinces him. And so, yeah, he unleashes the beast and he goes out to places where he knows the mafia people are going to be, and he starts murdering them. And one of the first people he murders is the son of the mafia boss. And the mafia boss captures footage of him, turning into a werewolf. And eventually, as Stu is going on this rampage, killing a bunch of people, he leaves one of them alive to tell a message, and that one ends up getting scratched and becoming a werewolf. And then the mafia boss is like trying to find out if he can use that werewolf blood to infect other people with werewolves so that he can take out Stu and, become stronger. We even have the scene straight out of Max Payne. Anyone who's played the original Max Payne game, the first one, the very last level is Max Payne storming the building that's run by the guy who's developing and releasing the Valkyrie drug of the company that is producing the Valkyrie drugs, and the one that murdered his wife. And yeah, he's basically shooting up everybody as he gets to the top and kills the boss. And in this series, I'm not going to spoil everything, but the final showdown deals with Stu storming the mafia boss skyscraper as a werewolf and trying to slaughter everyone as he tries to make his way up to the top to take on the boss. But yeah, the art for this is beautiful. It's freaking gorgeous. Like, I love the artwork. I love the coloring. The coloring is so good. It uses a lot of silhouettes and shadows with splashings of color to set the mood. Like, so we'll get like purple lights, we'll get red lights, yellow for eyes. It's just, I really love the way that it uses the minimalistic color and the shadows and the shading and everything. It's just, this artwork is fantastic. It's like photorealistic. It's great. The story is pretty good. It's really fast paced. Doesn't really do anything new or different, but I like it. I like the story. I'm one of those people where I love like popcorn flicks. I think stories should just be entertainment. Nothing against like stories that have like a huge underlying message or whatever. That's fine. But I just want something to entertain me. So, like, I'm not someone, like, I found the Godfather series boring as hell, for example. Meanwhile, my favorite movie of all time is Tremors. So, like, that's kind of like my taste. So this fits with that, where it's just entertaining. It's an entertaining series. One of the best werewolf stories I've ever read. I've read quite a few. All of them kind of tend to be like the same. Man gets bitten by a werewolf, slowly becomes one, starts turning into a monster, eventually ends up having to be killed at the end by his loved one or someone that he loves or something to stop from becoming evil. Like, after a while, it's just like, all right, you just tell me the same story over and over again. So this one's interesting because this one's basically, he's a private detective who loses his wife and he decides to get revenge, and he actually has control over his werewolf powers. Like, the reason he wants to put a bullet in his brain is not because he's losing control of his powers or losing control of the werewolf. It's just because he has nothing left. Like, the love of his life is dead. That's it. But when she convinces him to go on a murder spree in revenge, for her death, then he's like, all right, sure, let's do this. And yeah, he just goes on slaughtering all these baddies. But yeah, I like seeing a werewolf story where the main character actually has control over his powers, and his powers isn't seen like as a curse. Like, his powers wasn't his undoing, or like the reason that he's in this situation. He was completely fine with his life until his wife was taken from him by the mafia. So yeah, I just think that was like an interesting twist to the werewolf story, the werewolf genre. But yeah, if you guys are interested in seeing a good werewolf series, if you're interested in seeing a series about a private a werewolf detective that murders people in revenge for his dead wife, then yeah, check this out. It's great. I love it. 2 trade paperbacks. It's about, I think, 6 issues. There's 6 chapters in it. But yeah, it's a great miniseries, and I don't know what you can do for a sequel, just because again I'm not going to spoil it, but just the way that this series ends, it has its conclusion, it has its ending. It doesn't leave anything really open ended. But even with that said, I would like to see something come from this. Like I like to see more of this. I don't know. To me, there's not enough good werewolf comics out there. Werewolf visual mediums in general, comics, manga, stuff like that. Like there's just not enough good werewolf stories. So to try to find like some good ones out there, it's very, very hard. And this is one of the few good ones that I've read. If you have any recommendations for like, some other good werewolf stories, another good one that I read was The Astonishing Wolfman by Robert Kirkland. Is that the name? He did Invincible. That one is pretty good too. Really fast paced. That story was just boom, 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 boom. No slowdown whatsoever. Just on to the next thing. Like, things were progressing super quick. But yeah, I'm kind of rambling now. Check out this series. Really good. Highly recommend it. Awesome werewolf story. Awesome action story. Awesome supernatural story. It's just awesome overall. But there you go. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. So what'd you guys think of that video? I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe. Hit that bell for a notification. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And if you didn't enjoy the video, thank you for watching it this far. And I hope the next video is more to your liking. Feel free to check out the playlist that you guys see, and I hope to see you guys next time. Later.